Welcome back to the Lanterne Rouge Cycling Podcast, the opening of La Vuelta a España, the first stage, but we're not in Spain. We are in Turin, what Benji and I have deemed to be the richest city in all of Europe because they just cannot stop hosting Grand Tour cycling events, and we have a sprint.
Yes, we have a sprint, but we have to talk about something different first. I arrived in this podcast meeting. We're about to do the podcast, and Patrick arrives late. So the fact that our live stream on YouTube is late is on him. And he arrives and he says, "A wizard is never late." He didn't know the second part of the quote. I had to fill him in. He arrives precisely when he needs to. And then he says, "That's from Harry Potter, right?"
Yeah,
I'm sorry, but
Dumbledore said it.
Ah!
I seriously thought it was from Harry Potter. Is it not?
It is not. It's from Lord of the Rings, but I had to get that out of my mind because it has been eating up on me for the last 10 minutes. Let's begin.
So let's begin. Classic start to the Tour of Spain. Yes, from Torino, Regia di Venaria to Navarra. We did see in the last couple of days a few things have changed since our preview. Ben Turner is in for Ineos Grenadiers. Lucas Hamilton is out with illness. And Turner was at the Renewy Tour and had to dash across to Italy. Probably does give them a better sprint train option for the versatile sprints, particularly on stage 3. I think Turner and Ganna's a good combination. Any other... Damiano Caruso fell down in his bathroom 2 evenings ago and fractured his hand, and so he's out.
Like, it's sad, but it's also one of the funnier ways that I've seen someone slip out of a Grand Tour.
It could happen to anyone, though.
That is true. Imagine if we slip before the podcast and one of us doesn't make it to the microphone.
Would never happen. I've fallen on my bike at 65 kph and been a mummy, and I'll still turn up, and as long as I can speak, it's fine.
And I've been stuck in this room for the last 2 weeks. So.
Benji's still not left his room since the preview. Other news, we had Mikel Landa saying he kind of wants to go for stages. We had Ayuso and Almeida, I would say, playing down. I think generally speaking, playing down a few things. Firstly, saying that the tension between them is overblown. Yeah. I think that's probably true. I think that they're not... I don't think there's just some frosty atmosphere on the bus at the start of the Vuelta. I think it's pretty much fine. Ayuso said, listen, if he isn't in a position to podium the race, he'll help Almeida. I think he will try to do that.
I agree, but what I am missing is the way I see a co-leadership, I've said this in the preview, is that I see 2 GC riders that increase their own chances by having a coherent strategy. The way they talk about their GC bid, it sounds like they're riding for their own GC, separate next to each other, and not necessarily with a coherent strategy. And that's my only gripe with it, I think they would be better off trying to help each other succeed.
And you're right, because there is an inherent conflict in what you're saying. If Ayuso says, I want to see if I can compete for the podium and see how far I can go. But they did also say, and everyone, Vingegaard's the heavy favorite for the race. And I think Machin said we might need to use 2 leaders. Ayuso and Almeida have referred to using 2 leaders to be, tactically put Vingegaard under pressure. But what you're saying, Benji, if you're going for the podium, that's actually in conflict with trying to put Vingegaard under pressure. If you're 4th and you want to move into 3rd, you don't go on an all-out Hail Mary to put Vingegaard under pressure to set up Almeida. You follow and drop Ciccone in the last 3Ks.
If you look at the last 5 years of cycling, there's been not that many Grand Tours where a co-leader strategy really worked out. Sure, at this year's Tour de France, we had Roglic and Lipovic on certain mountain stages like Ventoux attacking left and right, rolling attacks on the likes of Only and trying to benefit from the fact that if you have 2 riders and one by one they attack, Only has to respond to all of them, while your other GC rider can follow Only in the draft. That's the thought process behind rolling attacks. It's like Col de Granol 2022. And that I don't see happening with UAE. And at the end of the day, Vingegaard is clear favored, but they're not the riders for it either. Almeida's not the guy to roll attacks.
There's also not any good stages for it, really. There's
the
no long
stage?
Yeah, but are Kuss, Tullett, and Jorgensen just going to evaporate on 4Ks 8%? I mean,
No.
maybe they will, but it's not like the Tourmalet stage of 2023. It's not like the Grenoble stage where they did the Galibier and the Telegraph and like big climbs. There's no real big climbs. It's a classic Vuelta stage. And then playing 2 leaders on Anglerud or Moradero, it's kind of every man just pedals up the climb as fast as they can. So I think, but it's clear. Almeida did say, I didn't train during the tour. He was off the bike for like 10 full days. And so he's had less preparation than he wants. So yeah, he's just downplaying a little bit. So it is really, everyone is looking to Vingegaard.
Someone in the chat just said, Vuelta without Pogacar, or Vuelta without Carapaz is like Patrick without Benji. Am I the Vuelta? Or are you the Vuelta? Am I Carapaz? Or are you Carapaz in that situation? Because I feel like I want to be Carapaz.
You're Carapaz, yeah, definitely you're Carapaz.
I bounce better.
But I would say that it's a Vuelta without Roglic. Roglic has done the Vuelta for like 7 years straight. And so there are a lot of asterisks already on this Vuelta. No Enric Mas, no Carapaz, no Roglic. So, yeah, the antagonists that we'd love to see in August in the heat of Spain, although we're in the north a lot, we're not here. We have done a long introduction, mainly to pad this episode out because nothing happened in the stage. I haven't done the stage, bro, for 188 Ks. There's one Cat 3, 6.5 Ks, 5%. La Serra, it's a flat start for the first hour, so break will form on the flat. Then it's uncategorized rolling climbs. Intermediate sprint with the bonus is very early, so the break will definitely take that. And then, yeah, it's like massive. The reason the Vuelta is less stressful for riders than the Tour, just watch the last 10 Ks. It's a massive road. If you got a strong team of rouleurs, you just pick one side. You can ride like as a team with no one really around you, and that's what. Yeah, and then it does change in the last 3.5 Ks. There's 4 roundabouts. There's one with 1K to go. Then there's a gentle right-hand bend to the line. We cannot find apparently any straight finishes at the moment today in sprint finishes. Yeah, it's a nailed-on sprint. Phillipsen did turn up, so we were correct in thinking this was an opportunity too good to pass up. And he's here with, the most cohesive, functional, and professional train in the race of Plancart, Ricard, Riesebeck, and then Glivar and Bayer to help out. And it's not like there's the HTC Columbia Avengers lead out here either. So Allison got the best sprinter, they got the best lead out. Phillipsen was the heavy favorite. Yes,
sir. And stage starts, 6 riders up the road. Pepijn Reinering, Nicolas Vinokourov, Joël Nicolau, Koen Bouwman, Alessandro Verre, and Hugo de la Calais, Hugo of the Streets, the guy you've been hyping up for the last week. Not sure you meant go in the break on flat stages, but why not?
Who won the KOM sprint?
I think Verre won the KOM sprint, but if you watch the TV, then you wouldn't know because the TV motorbike missed the actual sprint. So the one KOM sprint in the stage, the one thing that happened, we did not see, Patrick.
And they televised the whole stage too. So it was like the whole stage is televised. I got to be honest, I didn't watch it. I didn't watch it. I mean, like, yeah, I see the break, I flick it on, I see the break, I see Gebregs, Gabir, and Alpecin chasing. Like, what? I'm just going to watch Deutschland and Renewy. We had some good racing there today. So, yeah, that was that. And, we had... should we just get to the last 10 Ks?
No. I've got another rant for you, Patrick. I've got another one.
What
Intermediate sprint comes up, goes towards the breakaway, because for some reason in the Vuelta, the intermediate sprint gives points to 5 riders only. Is that correct? Unlike the Tour de France, where it gives points to like 15 riders. So because of that, the first 5 riders get 20, 17, 15, 13, and 11 points or something. So let's say the peloton goes towards an intermediate sprint. There's suddenly a gap of 11 points or 10 points from P5 to P6 at the intermediate sprint. Because then you get 0 points if you're 6th.
You're correct.
I kind of like the Tour de France system better.
I think this is better.
Really?
Yeah, because it rewards actually
being good.
You can create a bigger delta. Yeah. Whereas it was always like at the IS in the Tour de France in the opening week, you didn't really have to try because you're just like, I'll lose a point and not try and save it.
I think they should then change it and spread the points throughout the 20 more. So the first rider gets 20, second 15, the third one 11. Then
it goes down to 0. That makes way more sense.
Yes.
Why is it cutting off at 13?
It makes no sense that way.
But that's like bonus seconds. Bonus seconds should be 852 at the stage finishes. No, that's incorrect. 963.
Hey, I'm doing a pretty good job at padding this podcast, mate.
Yeah, it should be 963 at the finish. It should go 333. I don't know why it goes like it's better to be third and then lose 2 to second.
Should get 5 minutes bonus every flat stage.
We've got to do something about the Tour de France.
How much time per stage does Merlier need at the Tour de France to compete for the yellow jersey?
A lot of time.
1 hour per victory.
Because like if they rode against him, it'd be horrible. Anyway, 10Ks to go. Visma have a slightly different roster construction here in that instead of Van Aert, they have Zingle, and it's not really any lead-outs for Zingle, and it's very clearly all eyes on the prize with Vingegaard, so they set up the whole team. Kelderman, Van Baarle, Kampenaerts, even Jorgensen are pacing on one side of the road. They do go deep into the finish, and they get to the magic 3Ks to go. Alpecin do it smart. Eventually, Alpecin, 5Ks to go, they were side by side on the other side of the road. Alpecin then think, let's just go like behind Visma and freeload off them, because at 3Ks to go, they're going to evaporate. And that's what happens. Vingegaard pulls off to the right. He's gone. Jay Vine, we've been banging this drum for so long. Him and one other rider, Leonard Kamner, are the only ones to do it. And we said it in the preview over and over and over, over and over and over. I will believe it when I see it. And with Ciccone, he has an excuse, but with like Landa, the riders that say, I want to go in the break and I want to win stages. It is always easier to win a mountain stage from the break in week 1 than week 3. Because in week 3, you have a random GC riders in there who may have lost time, and then you're competing against them. In week 1, you're competing against Hugo of the Street, who, good rider, but Jay Vine can beat Hugo de la Calle in an uphill finish. Jay Vine literally puts the brakes on and loses time. I don't know how much time he lost. Has he finished yet?
I have absolutely no clue.
They've only got the top 20 on PCS.
I hope he's finished by now.
And it's been a while. How much time he lost? Let's see. Vine lost 328. So he's playing it.
That's good. That's maybe take red jersey of stage win. Good.
That's the correct amount. That's because you're allowed in the break, but you can still get yourself back into red at some point. That's the correct amount.
I agree. But anyway, last 1.5 to 2 kilometers. We've got IPT coming to the front. They've got Vernon sitting in P5, but they've got a lead out at the front at the moment. In the wheel of that lead out, they've got Little Trek, 2 lead outs, but Pedersen is not present. Pedersen is currently in Narnia because I'm pretty sure he went around the roundabout the wrong way, but I'm not completely certain.
Yeah, and he doesn't have a lead out.
True. Well, there were riders there, but it's not like he's got like the usual Little Trek lead out that really can set up a lead out in the last kilometer. It's more they can help him make harder races hard enough to drop your sprinters so that those go his way and help him control the stage, but they're not necessarily the best lead out riders in the world, I would say. But I fully agree there. Then behind that Little Trek, so as I said, IPT first, then 2 riders of Little Trek, then Vernon maybe with 1 more teammate in the wheel, and in the wheel of that, 3 riders from Alpecin. That's with 1.4 kilometers to go, and in the last kilometer, it's basically Little Trek taking over from that IPT rider, then eventually Alpecin taking over from Little Trek, and from that point onwards, Patrick, with a kilometer to go, guide me through.
Yeah, Alpecin just dominate the sprint. I mean, Vernon does have Stewart, and it's the probably the 2 fastest flat sprinters with the 2 best lead-outs, final men. Edward Plankart's the final man. I think actually it was Rickard was the setup man for Alpecin to Koenig. They get one side of the barrier, they get the quickest side. If you get the inside of that line, and we've seen them launching Phillipsen with Plankart, there's just no way he's not going to win. I know Vernon does the right thing, I think, trying to jump him. He does do the right thing, because if he jumps him, gets ahead and gets to the barrier, that's the only way maybe Vernon can win with this Alpecin to Koenig lead up. But yeah, Ricard and Plancard just set him up too well. And Phillipsen, who's the fastest sprinter here with no Melier, no Coy, no Johnny Milan, wins with a clean pair of heels and takes the red jersey after winning the first stage of the Tour de France, where he also took the yellow jersey. So maybe he's fallen. I mean, not maybe. He's having a worse year by, I think, victories and points compared to the last 2 years. That's just what the numbers say. Crashes have been a part of that. He got crashed out in the Tour. Doesn't help. At the start of the year, he also clearly wasn't as fast as Merlier and Milan, but they made the right decision to come to the Vuelta because, yeah, with this lead out and with his speed, they get what they deserve. Phillipsen wins easily. Vernon second, Aular third, Elliot Viviani fourth, which it's not bad. Ivan Garcia Cortina fifth, David Gonzalez for Q365.
Nice.
Sixth. That's got to be the best. That's got to be the best World Tour result of his career. But
for sure.
Curiously, Coquard seventh, and then Guillermo Silva's eighth, Pidcock ninth. So I don't know. Q365 went for both of them. Mikkels 10th. And to show you, this is always a good indication of how when a lead out was completely overpowered. When the final man finishes in the top 15, Edward Plancart finishes 13th for Alpecin. So that's how far ahead he was of everyone else.
Is there a world in which Q36.5 can get the Classics wildcards for certain next year? UCI points-wise, if they stack top 10 in stages?
It must be that. It must be the UCI points.
It always is, Patrick. Come on.
Yeah, you're right. It's because of UCI points. So they're going. So what on stage 3 they'll sprint with Gonzalez, Pidcock, and Fabio Kristen.
I've got no clue, mate.
That's crazy. Stop UCI points.
Nah, I like it.
I think Pedersen couldn't get. Yeah, his position couldn't get salvaged. Unfortunately, he finishes 14th. I think the points jersey also with the drop off. There's also the drop off at the finish. Wow. Yeah. So what? Only the first 5 at the finish get points too? You said that?
Really? I didn't say that at the finish. I said at the intermediate sprint.
Nah, that's not true. PCS was tricking me. I made it up. But Pedersen only takes 3 points. Phillipsen's already 47 points ahead. I think this green jersey competition won't be, the points jersey competition won't be completely easy for Pedersen. Phillipsen looking...
I don't know.
There's not many versatile sprint stages where I expect Phillipsen to just get... Even stage 4, is Phillipsen that bad?
No.
So, yeah. What do we learn?
What did we learn? We learned that Jasper Phillipsen is at a solid level here. He's got 2 leaders jerseys after the first stage of a Grand Tour this year, which is fantastic outcome, I would say, especially considering crashing out of the Tour de France. Could have been more victories already in Grand Tours, but in hindsight, I think he's going to be pretty happy about that because I read some interviews from Jasper that he was pretty down after that Tour de France crash, I'm pretty sure. But outside of that,
Ineos sprinted with Turner rather than Ganna, so that's something we were wanting to see what they do.
Yeah, I didn't spot either of them, to be honest, in the final sprint. He finished 12th, so I don't know. We said it in 2023 that Ganna looked great in sprints, and I assume that Ganna can fight for a top 5 in a sprint like this.
Yeah, like it's all due respect, but it's, David Gonzalez 6th. I think it's, but it's more about how much do you want it, to contest a sprint. Okay, that was the opening sprint stage. No crashes. And
good.
We move on. I don't mind it. Stage 2.
We move on?
Alba to Limone Piemonte, the Lemon Piedmont. It is a Unipuerto stage, 161 kilometers long, but it's Italian Unipuerto, so it is not a ramp pass climb, although it does increase logarithmically the gradients of this climb.
Yes, logarithmically. Last time on the preview podcast, I said the opposite of exponential, and 10 people called me out in the comment section saying it was logarithmic. I don't care. Everybody understood what I meant. That's some
nerd stuff.
I appreciate educating me. Okay, a little bit. A little bit of me was annoyed. But who will control this? I would argue someone, because there's a red jersey on the line.
Javine's going to go for it from the breakaway. Otherwise, why lose the 3 minutes 30? Then who... I think Q365 are going to control this for Pidcock.
Possibly. They'll trek for Ciccone. I wouldn't hate either.
Yeah.
Like, it'd be okay if I see that on the road tomorrow.
Ciccone's
like,
one stage.
Why are they doing that?
No, but he's won stages like this ahead of Ayuso. He won the Catalunya sprints. He can win this.
And the reason I'm not saying Visma is because they don't need to. Like, they're here for the overall victory at the end.
And there's no
not
gaps.
For a red jersey after stage 2.
Oh, there could be. Yeah, there could be. You're not going to win the Vuelta on this climb. It's. I should actually probably say the gradient. It's. The last 4.5 Ks is 6.5%, 10 Ks 5%, and yeah, the last 2 Ks
are hard.
They're about 8%. It's not easy. It's a good Ciccone climb. And yeah, like we said with Q365, I mean, yeah, Pidcock might not win, but if you come second, you get 130 UCI points. So why not? What are the other guys going to do all day? Just make him pace. So who are our breakaway candidates? Javine, of course. I wouldn't mind seeing... Have a look.
Has to be an Astana boy in there, right?
Yeah, Astana. They went today, so they'll have to go tomorrow, and they got a million climbs. Harold Martin Lopez.
A Groupama boy.
Yeah. Rudy Mollard.
A Jaco boy.
Chris Harper. Bookman.
Are you leaning towards a breakaway victory then? Chris
Hamilton. Nah.
You don't?
Nah, because it's how long's the stage? 160?
And it's not the kind of stage where you see a possibility where, okay, let's say it goes for the GC group and the last 4 kilometers we see an attack from, I was going to use the example of a rider that will probably go in the break, but a Javine, for example, from the peloton, does he have a chance from the peloton?
Maybe that's his plan.
Yeah, well, do you need to lose 3 minutes for that then?
Yes. Yeah, because then you're not a red jersey threat.
Yeah, but...
No one owns the red jersey.
He's not a red jersey threat for this Grand Tour.
I mean to take it after the stage.
Yeah, I guess.
Like, because who's going to check? If he goes, like you say, if he goes 4Ks where it's 6.5%, who chases him?
Well, the people trying to go for the stage that control it the entire day, I would say, but...
But then what climber on Q365 is going to climb on 6.5% as
Mess
fast
Pedersen's going to be controlling that shit for Ciccone, I'm telling you. Even if Ciccone doesn't want to.
Yeah. So who are the climbers on Trek? So I think he's going to go from the GC group then.
I think it's possible. Isn't that the same thing he did with Arden Sol?
Yeah, but that was on the Ordino climb up there beforehand.
Yeah. True, yes.
I think everybody knows he's going to do it. He just told the whole peloton he's going to do it. So I'm going to pick Vine. Because
it's always more badass if you say it and you actually make it happen.
He's put the whole peloton on notice today. Because if he wins by 30 seconds, Vision will be like,
yeah,
whatever. Like,
I'm going for Giulio Ciccone. He's been in form in the last couple of weeks, and
he has been.
Vingegaard can win this from the peloton, but it's not that interesting to say that, so I'm going for Giulio.
That's the Vuelta preview for tomorrow. I'll quickly, Renewy Tour, we had a sprint stage today. We've had a couple of interesting stages yesterday. Mathieu van der Poel was very aggressive, strongest rider in the race, and he won, although De Lee took the leader's jersey. Today we had a sprint, a little uphill sprint, and Tim Merlier took revenge on Koy. Merlier has 2 wins in the Renewy Tour this week. Koy has 1 in the headwind sprint. Pavel Bittner's been quite good, actually. The young...
Points jersey?
He's Czech, right? I think he might be, yeah.
He's also in the points jersey, so really consistent in the sprints, I would say.
Yeah, exactly. He's always been around. He's 3 podiums, I think, on Picnic Post NL, which...
UCI points.
And Fabio Jakobsen broke his collarbone.
True.
So he's out, which is a big shame for him. He just came back from injury. But the more exciting stage was the Deutschland Tour. UAE team Emirates were 1 second behind Warenshold on GC with Narvaez. Narvaez won the stage yesterday. Warenshold went into the leader's jersey after a late attack from them and with Sheehan. And today UAE exploded the race. There was some early climbs, and the last 60 Ks was easier. McNulty these are perfect terrain for him, and he just blew up the race. Van der Scholt survived, which was really, really impressive. Van Poppel came back. And so it was a really strange last hour, I have to say, because Visma had Van Aert on 15 seconds in GC. Van der Scholt had no teammates for 2 hours. And in the post-race interview, Van der Scholt said, yep, I was just expecting them to attack me because I had no one around me. And then I was going to be like, oh, well, that's just how it is. I was ready to give up when they just started attacking me. And then they just never did. And Visma, I think, still too passive. But I can get it because with Brennan, you probably should win the stage. But then UAE, the really good early work, I was like, why don't you play numbers because I just never thought Narvaez was going to win this sprint. Yeah. And anyway, it's an uphill sprint. It's like 500 meters, like 3%. It's not that hard. Van der Scholt hasn't had to put a foot like really in the wind for the 2 hours, despite getting his own bidons. And we see Van Aert leads it out. Brennan's way too deep. Van Poppel brings him up inside. Van der Scholt launches on the barrier. He moves out of the barrier a bit. Van Poppel's like, can I go under the barrier, underneath you to the barrier side? He's like, no, because Van der Scholt closes it. He opens out to the right. It's a bend finish, of course. And then he goes to the dash line. There's a gap between Van der Scholt and Van Poppel. Brennan goes to hit the gap. Van Poppel then moves left like a foot. And then Van der Scholt moves right a foot, and Brennan starts to get squeezed, and then Van Poppel moves another 2 feet left, all the way to in front of where Van der Scholt was.
What is a foot? When you were like American distances? Or the length of a foot, you mean?
It was 12 inches.
Okay, I have no clue what that means.
It's a ruler. It's a 30-centimeter ruler.
Okay, so just to be clear, this is one of the clearest deviations of the year, in my opinion.
Oh, really?
Danny Van Poppel clearly deviates, clearly endangers, nearly crashes 2 people. Well, crashes 1 person that would eventually also lead to a second crash. It is not Weidenskjold that moves to the right. It is clearly Van Poppel that moves from the middle of the road all the way to the left. In doing so, nearly crashing. He had to stop pedaling. He had to stop sprinting literally to not crash Brennan. So that is what we are seeing here. So that is always a relegation. And on paper, considering the UCI rules say that yellow cards are given in dangerous moments like the sprint deviation that is dangerous, also a yellow card. That is also what happens. The UCI gives that out, gives a yellow card, gives a relegation. Gives the relegation. I'm not sure about the yellow card. I assume they gave a yellow card there. Now, that's fine. That's all good. That's all great. I do have to hammer very hard on this. The fact that Danny Van Poppel has been relegated 5 times this year. Once at the Tour Down Under, once at the UAE Tour, twice at the Tour de France, and now at the Deutschland Tour, resulting in 4 yellow cards.
Wait, which one? Which stage? Which was the second stage in the Tour?
I don't know the second one, but the first one was in week 1. I'm going off the information of a certain podcast producer that I will not name because I don't want to shame him, but second and third stage, says Luke. One was an intermediate, he says.
Where he got declassed at the intermediate on the second stage.
If I recall, yes. Either way, it doesn't matter. It's 4 or 5 relegations.
No, it does matter because, then
there's no change in the yellow card rules anyway, regardless whether it's 4 or 5.
If he got 2 in the Tour, he would have got kicked out of the Tour on stage 3.
Yeah, he didn't get 2 yellow cards. He got 2 relegations.
Yeah, but then how do you not get a yellow for the first relegation?
I'm not the guy that didn't give the yellow card.
I'm just speaking out loud. Like, anyway, 5 relegations. That's got to be a record, right? In the modern era,
even Jasper Phillipsen peak dirtiness does not reach that.
No, 5 relegations. That's like half your sprints.
Yeah,
you're getting a relegation,
and it's also not that he's getting a yellow card, for example, for throwing a beat-on to a person by the side of the road, or dangerously getting rid of a beat-on. He does it by sprint deviations every single time. And every single time, it's also an accurately given one. So for the people that don't remember, if you get 2 yellow cards within 1 day race or a stage race, you get a disqualification or a 7-day suspension. If you get 3 yellow cards within a 30-day period, you get a 14-day suspension. If you get 6 yellow cards within a 1-year period, you get a 30-day suspension. He's actually on the way at current tempo to get that 30-day suspension at the end of the year. But the fact that someone can get 4 yellow cards and 5 relegations in 8 months shows to me that the system is not working. I've done a complete deep dive on my channel, sorry for the promo, where I looked at what the system could be, and my proposal, Patrick, was yellow cards expire after 365 days is rule 1 of my new system.
Yep.
2 yellow cards in 30 days is a disqualification and a 14-day suspension. 3 yellow cards in 90 days is a disqualification and a 30-day suspension. 4 yellow cards in 365 days is a disqualification and a 30-day suspension. Because they stack it. It's not like if you...
No, I think what'd you say, 330? 3 gives you 30 days?
3 in 90 days. 3 but they stack.
Yeah, but I think the 4th one, then it should get exponentially worse.
But it gets
logarithmically worse.
What?
No, like, I mean, the 4th one, you should be sitting for 6 months almost. Because, listen, Danny Van Poppel, he does not think he did anything wrong. He doesn't.
That is correct.
And you can see him arguing with the commissaire. He knew, because he didn't celebrate after the finish. He really didn't celebrate after the line when he stopped. He was sure that they were going to look at it. He knew.
Yeah.
But he really, in his heart of it, he does not think he did anything wrong. And he will not change his behavior because people say you should stop doing that and it's not very nice.
Yeah.
Because he's been doing it since he made Lund Andersen lose a race in Tour Down Under. He's been doing it all year. The only thing that would have stopped Van Poppel closing that door today and sprinting in a straight line is if he thinks he has to sit for 3 months after. That's the only... Because what did he lose by doing it today?
Well, a victory?
No. If he doesn't do it, he loses.
That's true. Because if he doesn't do it, Brennan will win. Brennan had so much momentum, he would always win that sprint if that gap stays there.
So all he does is he's like, okay, game theory, maybe I got a good commissaire today. I make it 50-50, and 50% they don't relegate me, 50% they do. If I don't move, I lose 100%. So I should just move. The only thing that will stop him doing that is a proper sanction. And I think the yellow card system actually is working really well. Both Benji and I retired. We retired from the deviation police because
clearly not.
No, but they did the relegation correctly. Like I do think there is an argument to be made. Where did Van Poppel establish his line? Because he was still moving right, but then he moves the extra move left in front of Van Schol's line. Is like, no, you can't do that.
But I disagree with you that you say, oh, the yellow card system is working properly. It is not working properly if the punishments are not incentivizing riders not to do it.
Yeah.
Because Van Poppel is clearly not incentivized to do safer sprints, to not endanger fellow sprinters.
I agree with you. I'm just, the little move left, you have to have some margin that people can sprint at 60 side by side. And Van Schol does also squeeze. Van Schol also does squeeze Brennan right.
And the context matters of every single sprint. For example, if you have to go around someone to avoid a crash, for example, that's a completely different situation than Van Poppel, who is in the middle of the road, goes left. In doing so, nearly crashing Brennan, who's clearly going to go through that gap and is already next to Van Poppel when he does it. That's a rulebook clear deviation. But
yeah, I agree.
There's one person that doesn't think so, and I don't want to be harsh, but it's probably the most out of touch thing I've seen all day. Tadej Pogacar posted an Instagram story saying, the clear winner of today's stage, these relegations are absolute jokes and not correct. Job done poorly like so many times this year. Congratulations, Danny Van Poppel, you won. With a picture of Danny Van Poppel. That is, oh my God, like this is the clearest relegation, one of the clearest of the entire year. To me, this looks like Tadej Pogacar is salty about Drew Oliveira, who that was a questionable relegation at the Tour of Slovenia.
It was so funny. It was so funny because he did it so on purpose and he was going to win anyway.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm going to win, but I want to make sure I only win by deviating.
But I have Luke to say...
Luke is saying he's salty because Varensgold gets more bonus seconds on Narvaez. If Van Poppel didn't deviate, Varensgold would have got 4 bonus seconds instead of 6 because Brennan would have won, Van Poppel would have been second, and maybe even Watson would have been third. Varensgold was going backwards. So the deviation actually cost Narvaez. I would say the most out-of-touch thing I've seen is turning up to a UCI event with a jersey that says, "Don't take photos of me." I
think it's okay that a rider doesn't necessarily want to take pictures with every single person, stuff like that. But I have to say, what was very oralist was the switch from the first jersey that said "Do Not Disturb," which was obvious. You could clearly see "Do Not Disturb" on that shirt, to the second one, which was like artsy, and I couldn't read a thing about it. So if I'm there, I could not read that says "Do Not Disturb." That was so unclear. So I think Pogacar needs to go back to the aura mode and goes back to the fast kit, because that one will make it more clear that he doesn't want to go on pictures with
The World Champs kit has a lot of aura, I would say.
That's
it's a
true.
pretty aura-full kit.
Then people will take pictures with him. So I understand that you might not want people to, every 5 minutes during a training ride, interrupt him for a picture.
No, but it's at a race. Like, anyway, that's an aside.
But this Instagram story, Jesus, so out of touch. I have to say it. Like, a borderline clueless.
Is he friends with Van Poppel because he lives in Monaco?
I don't know. I don't care. This is my opinion on the story.
Yeah. Anyway, what was I going to say? Varensgold. Before on the yellows, I think the yellow card system has been very good. I think the way they're policing relegations this year is much stricter. But That's correct. But like we said at the start, like we said in January, and I think it's correct that they brought it in like a bit too lenient. It's better to have it too lenient than have it like too strict, unintended consequences of a new rule, and then a guy sitting for 6 months who threw a bid on in the into some bushes twice. Like, that would obviously be ridiculous. But I do think they need to, if you're getting 4 yellow cards in 6 months, because like Van Poppel still doesn't sit from a race, right?
No.
Like, so why, like I said with the game, he will not, you have to make it a bit stricter. Because as I say, if you ask him honestly, and I believe honestly he thinks that is part of sprinting, and so he will not change.
The punishments for yellow cards should be harsher, and they should not expire. For example, if I get 2 yellow cards in 30 days,
expire.
They should not expire because I have a 14 days. What is it? Sorry, I need to go up to my list here. If I have 2 yellow cards in the Tour de France, for example, and I get disqualified from the Tour de France with a 7-day suspension, if I get another yellow card 2 days after the Tour de France, then I'm sorry, but then I should be getting the extra 14-day suspension, because now you're back on 1, because you reset once you get the suspension.
Yeah,
that should not happen.
I don't think they should they should only reset at the end of the season.
And how long does a yellow card currently last outside of that?
Well, 12 months, running 12 months maybe, but then you got off season.
12 months for the year rule, yeah.
Anyway, the man that could not believe his luck in Germany is Søren Varensgold. Yeah. Because he was isolated with 80 Ks to go. He had UAE and Visma with their full teams. No one attacked him. And then he was going to lose the sprint and lose all bonus seconds.
Yeah.
And Narvaez was going to just hang on on level on time. And then Van Poppel stops Brennan and gets relegated, and he wins the stage. And now, he's 10 seconds ahead of Narvaez. Tomorrow's stage, the final stage to Magdeburg, is pancake flat. And so, I think he just has to take some bonies and Narvaez not win the stage. So, anyway, Germany's actually been, for a soft-looking parkour, it is another good example of the riders make the race. It's been quite entertaining.
And I also can't wait to look at what happens in the to L'avenir family in the coming days.
Yeah.
So we'll get back to that after maybe tomorrow's stage and give a bit of a recap on there. But I do want to end today's podcast on a bit of a somber note. There was a junior race today, the Vuelta a la Ibera, and it's been cancelled, or the stage was stopped due to a hard crash. And sadly, for the X amount of time in our podcast's history, we have to mention, sorry for flanking you with this, Patrick, but a rider has passed away in that race. And I'm not sure, obviously, whether that race is going to continue, but I'm sorry, how many years have we done the podcast? 5 years?
This is
6
the 6th
seasons?
season, yeah.
How many times have we had to mention that an athlete in our sport passes away due to a crash, due to an accident, stuff like that? I don't know if this crash was preventable, but I wish to live in a sport that this doesn't need to happen, because you can probably tell, but I'm frustrated and sad, and my thoughts are with the family, the team, the friends of this athlete, and yeah, I hope this does not happen again, but we say that every time, and at this point, I don't know if those words mean anything.
We don't know the identity of the rider yet. I checked the Spanish press. It's a local Spanish junior race, and really, really sad. I was actually watching the stream, like checking in on the stream of this very race on my run this afternoon, and I was wondering what was going on, and this is sort of the worst news possible. Rugby's making great steps, I think, with head injuries.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean this was preventable. We don't know the details, but yeah, just another very, very somber reminder of how dangerous the sport is, the risks that athletes take, and we got to make the sport safer as much as possible. Otherwise, people will not let their kids participate if this is the risk, a realistic risk that can happen, and it is a realistic risk that happened. And thoughts and best wishes to the family of that rider. So, somber note to finish on. We'll be back with the Vuelta tomorrow. Thanks for listening as always. Until then, ciao, ciao.